The topic of this video is $11,000 continuous monthly checks that almost everyone receives from what is now known as Social Security. Let's get started and go over all the details. Now and at the moment, this is something that I do want to draw your attention to right here in the video because I've noticed it making the rounds and making news a lot lately. Understand all the specifics and this idea that is circulating since it has an intriguing twist. As I discuss, I'd like to know what you think of that in the comment section below. As we go through the specifics of this novel concept that is currently being proposed, we've noticed that several laws, packages, proposals, ideas, and concepts of all types have been appearing throughout the We've seen a lot of them appear in 2024 already, and in the last few years, so this is just another one to add to the expanding pile that once more seeks to establish more funds for the low-income, fixed-income individuals around the nation, as well as almost everyone else. There are many other plans like this one that are out there, and this is just one of them. I want to talk about it because, as I mentioned, it has an intriguing twist. I want to tell you all the information about it, including who would be included. We need to ask ourselves these questions regarding this and the entire theory behind it, such as the goal and what they're ultimately trying to accomplish. Indeed, many times we examine these plans and think, well, that sounds good, but what's the idea behind this? Why would they want to do something like this? That is the entire plan behind this because, let's face it, do you really think that they wanted to start all of these initiatives just so they could give themselves a pat on the back at the end? They do, but there's also a purpose behind it, so keep in mind that they are also self-serving and are acting in this way because they want something in return. So they're not only doing it voluntarily, not by chance, because that's not how these programs operate. Legislators operate differently from that, manner. Instead, they act like, hey, we're going to do this because at the end of the day, we want something in return, right? If you haven't already, I'll quickly go over all the facts with you before we begin. However, remember to perform a great favor for yourself. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button directly below the video. It's completely free. If not, make sure you do so now. Completely free. Every day, I'm here to support you by conducting all the research you don't need to, condensing it into these quick films, and speaking out for you and highlighting everything that is now available that you might be able to use. Seize, exploit, or anything that might be passed quite quickly, such as some of the legislation for 2024 that we've already seen this year that puts more money in the hands of those who are BEN officers on a fixed or low income. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I really love it if you can subscribe below. Additionally, feel free to share the video with your friends on my social media accounts. Let's get started and go over the specifics of this. As you saw at the beginning, let me start by saying thank you and appreciate your support. You can find the share button below, regarding the video in which I mentioned Social Security for all. Yeah, I understand, but that's the idea I'd really like to hear your thoughts on because I know that the majority of you are here. The people in the community do, in fact, receive Social Security fixed income benefits, so bear that in mind as I go over the specifics of this. Alright, so this is the entire idea behind this. This software that they're discussing, which, incidentally, has a different name but is extremely similar to this one. I'll discuss that one as well and make comparisons. The concept behind it is to create a nationwide monthly check program, which would be created and dispersed by the federal government. The two very briefly discuss this in the video. Authority not on a state-by-state or county-by-county basis, but rather on a national scale. The concept behind this would be a nationally sponsored program that would set up regular monthly checks. As much as $1,000 for almost everyone, including those who would need to meet certain income requirements in order to qualify. You've heard me discuss this previously. The response to the question, yes, okay, this is not a thing, is that there are currently no programs in place that provide the wealthiest citizens in the nation with recurring monthly checks, that concentrate funds on individuals with high incomes or extremely high net worths. That's simply not how these programs operate. They were always designed with those with incomes below a particular level in mind. Typically, the income criteria for an individual can range from approximately $75,000 to $100,000, depending on the type of program. For example, the child tax credit payments, which this is not, but I'm using it as a simple example where the individual income criterion is set at $200,000. From this, you can see that the income requirements are, in fact, quite widely scattered across the board. You see that, so anyway, this is what they're talking about. The details of this are as follows. This is essentially just a scheme that provides a guaranteed basic income under the guise of Social Security for everyone. Recall that there is also another program called the Support Act that aims to create something somewhat similar. It would allow one to set up a continuous $200 account by issuing $200 checks. Monthly check for everyone in the nation once more. Individuals making less than $75,000 annually, you've heard me discuss that one in previous videos, get $200. This one costs $1,000 and is remarkably comparable. Regarding the overall concept, let me tell you the specifics. They want to call it Social Security for everybody. Once more, this is where I'd like to. Please share your thoughts about this name in the space below. All right, let me quickly clarify. Does this have anything to do with Social Security? The answer is no. What is the money? Originating with Social Security. This is the entire concept and reasoning behind the name Social Security for All, which is derived from the money and contributions that are being taken out of the Social Security Trust Fund. All right, so when you ask someone, say, "Hey, what is Social Security?" and you walk down the street and question 100 people you see strolling around, they're all probably going to answer, providing a very general response, such as, "It's a program that I pay into during my entire life through payroll taxes." It's possible that they are unaware of this, but they still say, "You." When I get older, I'm sure it will be around 65, 62, or 70, or something similar. There are a number of myths about when you can actually collect Social Security, and I am aware of all of them. As many of you in the community are aware, most people are unaware of the actual age at which one can file for Social Security benefits. While this is true, most people still believe that one must be 65. Nevertheless, you can file for benefits at any age. Many would argue that it's essentially simply a program that I pay into through taxes, but that's a whole different topic in and of itself. However, at some point when I'm 60 years old, I can apply for Social Security and receive a monthly payout for the remainder of my life. Does that make sense? That's what it is commonly used for. Fundamentally, the concept behind the name Social Security for All is that if we call it that, then everyone will know what it means, including those who have. As everyone in this community knows, or as anyone else who may not know much about Social Security would know, you have a very thorough understanding of the foundations of Social Security. Recognize this privilege, you essentially receive a monthly check that is continuous, and people often assume that it originates from Social Security. However, in this instance, it is not the source. Instead, it provides everyone with a pretty basic comprehension. Now, here's the thing. I promise you that 10% of the 100 people you approach in the street, if you were to ask them what guaranteed basic income is, they might be able to answer you. Most people probably have no idea what guaranteed basic income is, which is essentially nothing more than the provision of a continuous monthly payment to a designated group of individuals with no conditions attached. Would be, but they still want to call it Social Security for everyone. Now, here's the thing. I find it a little bit disrespectful to those who are now receiving benefits from Social Security because you have worked hard for your benefit and have earned every penny of Social Security. You have contributed to Social Security for many years of your life, paid payroll taxes, and had money taken out of your payments and the like. You've earned your monthly benefit. But now, just to put a name on a Guarantee BAS basic income program, they're saying, "Hey, we're going to call ass for all that?" I'm not sure what that program entails. Quite insulting to SSDI beneficiaries or recipients who have worked really hard over many years to obtain the benefits and money they have been receiving throughout their retirement. Then all of a sudden, simply slapping this moniker on some arbitrary program. But ultimately, what they want to accomplish with this is create a nationwide guaranteed basic income program. This is everything I have for you as of right now. Let me know if you have any more questions. Does that kind of make sense? It's the same thing as the Support Act, but in various numbers. If you have any questions or would want more information about this, please feel free to leave a comment below.